Welcome to the first annual Books for Buddies fundraiser. My name is Christine Smallman, and I am Director of the Toledo Blade and Education Department at the Toledo Blade. Very pleased to see everyone this evening. When we started on this initiative, we were hoping for 50 people. And of course, our community always turns out in a much bigger crowd than what we thought. So thank you all for attending and supporting this event. There are a lot of people here tonight to thank. The first person I would like to thank is Lisa Kohler, my co-chair. Lisa? Each and every one of you are important to this initiative for the young men and boys in our community. At this time, I'd like to have former Mayor of Toledo and State Fire Marshal Michael P. Bell stand. Tura McCord, founder of Books for Buddies. Erik Kynard, Jr., U.S. Olympian. Mayor Paula Hicks Hudson, Mayor of Toledo. Lanita Goings, co-founder of Books for Buddies and president. And lastly, Ben Cathy, who is our MC tonight. Thank you. We also have someone who I believe is the heart of our organization, and his name is Christopher Smith. He is I would say young man, because I just think you're young. I just don't know, Christopher. You are young. The dude has grandkids and he looks 12. But Christopher mentors the ambassadors for this organization and spends countless hours helping this organization succeed. So Christopher, if you could please stand. And we're going to get started, because if you have to choose between me and Erik Kynard, you know what you choose. Ben, come on up.
How's everybody doing tonight? Can you guys hear me on this mic? So my name is Ben Cathy. I'm a meteorologist at Channel 13 ABC right here in Toledo, and I've been fortunate to be a part of Books for Buddies going back a couple years now, going back to one of our first outreach events at the Franklin Park Mall, and to see how things have changed and grown through the efforts of the people sitting here, the ambassadors you'll see around the room in orange shirts, Christopher Smith right there, and a couple other people I see in the audience. So I want to ask Dennis Hobson if he's here to stand up real quick. Give Dennis a round of applause. All right, and one more. Where's Don Emmons at from the Toledo Blade? Don's over there in the corner, so quick round of applause for Don. You know, I want to thank everybody for being out here tonight. I'm going to grab the program and talk a little bit about Books for Buddies for some of you maybe in the Police Athletic League that don't know, or some of you for the first time meeting this organization. To date, in about 4 years' time, we've given out nearly 45,000 books, mostly to the children right around here, right around Toledo, whether from the west side of town, the Weiler homes, the Birmingham Terrace neighborhoods, going into the schools, and especially working during the summer when young boys and young girls, too, really need that little bit of an extra mentorship push to keep them from kind of losing that knowledge during the school year. So unlike other literacy groups, we are really striving to work during the summer with the young boys you see here. And then for some of you in the back, maybe some of the younger boys, we'd encourage you to become ambassadors as well once you reach the age in high school. Our ambassadors are all walks of life. They are from St. John's Jesuit, St. Francis, Bowser, Wade, Scott, Northview, Southview, just to name a few. And of course, you'll hear from the rest of the group in just a couple of minutes, including our founders, Lanita Goings, who's over here, and Terrain McCord, too. So he's sitting in the front row. You'll hear from him in just a couple of seconds. Want to also bring up a former mayor, former state fire marshal, and of course, the former fire chief here in the Glass City of Toledo. That is Mike Bell. He's going to give you a couple of words as well.
First of all, I want to thank you all for being here, but especially the young people. I want to really thank you for being here because this is so important. This group of people over here, their concern is about these young people. And so that is the gist of this whole thing. But in focusing on young people, I want you to think about something. Okay, imagine yourself going to a fire run, going to one where there's this railroad car that's all turned over and there's stuff seeping, and all of a sudden we're clearing out areas and we're doing this and we're doing all this other stuff and we're attacking it, and finally we get it all fixed. And some people say, well, man, you must be really smart to know what that stuff was. No. There's a book we have that all we had to do is read it. And if we read the instructions, it tells us exactly what we need to do. The basic portion of reading is what's going to make these young people successful. If you can't read, you can't get to the next step. I don't care how talented you are. At some point in time, that's going to come into play. So reading for young people is extremely important. I don't care what it is, they just need to read. And I want to applaud the parents that are here, because having you here reinforces that issue that it's important that they read. The other portion of that formula, that anybody that learns how to read learns from a teacher. And so we need to be able to thank the teachers for what they do. I can tell you that anything that I've been able to do inside this city, and I'm quite sure Mayor Paula Hicks Hudson would say the same thing, anything that we've learned to do, not one portion of that would have happened if we couldn't read. Not one portion would we have been able to move forward with if we couldn't read, and if we didn't have good teachers helping us with that, it wouldn't work. I was so proud, and I'll just give you a small story, and then I'm going to sit down. I was so proud of, I went to Spring School, which is right down the road here, and Woodward High School and the University of Toledo. But I had a third-grade teacher that put a lot of time into me. And the part that was sort of amazing, when you're in third grade and you move on, they don't know where you go. But what I did is I went back when she was ready to retire about 30 years later. And I had my full fire chief's uniform on. And I brought her some roses. And what I did, and I told her, and that's why it's so important that we treat our teachers well, is that a lot of times when kids leave you at the age of 8 or 9, you never see them again. But this is what you're working on. This is the finished product. This is what you're trying to get to. And I can tell you that there are so many people in my life that have made a difference, but the major portion of that is reading. So I want to thank all the teachers that are here. I want to thank the parents that are here, the students that are here. Just keep reading, being motivated, and thank Books for Buddies for putting this on. Thank you very much.
And I really want to echo what Mayor Bell said there. So many of my teachers, even growing up in North Carolina, going to college in Miami, have meant so much to me. I come from a family of teachers, a family of readers. And even though I'm not in school anymore, like a lot of you in the crowd tonight, I've still made it a habit to be a lifelong reader and a lifelong learner. And I mean that in the broadest sense of the word. I was lucky to have parents that swear by this technique of reading before you even come out of the womb, almost serenading you with kind of nursery rhymes and books like that. And they got me into reading Goodnight, Moon, and then the Hardy Boys. And reading has become a habit. It's been instilled in your parents, hopefully, and it's been instilled certainly in the members of the audience here and the ambassadors, and we want to instill it in you. And that is why we made it our mission to provide, again, about 45,000 books within the last 4 years. One of the most integral people of that, he's now in college, a freshman studying mass media communication. And he is, maybe you haven't seen him around town. He's been gone at Clark, Atlanta for a little bit, enjoying his time down there. And he's going to stand up for us right now. Teray McCord, the co-founder of Books for Buddies and the Goings grandson. Now, we have a special video of Teray we want to show you right here if we can.
In fourth grade, everybody was like on a different reading level than I was, and I was like struggling to keep up. And so I would always have to meet with my English teacher and my mom, and my English teacher always tell me, yeah, like Teray's not at the proper reading level. He's always behind in class. His writing assignments are always not up to like the par that other kids are. And so my mom would make me sit down every day for 30 minutes and read something like, either if it was out of like a magazine or if it was out of a book that I really liked. She made me read, and then she would make me tell her what I read about. So she was trying to improve my reading comprehension. My reading level improved significantly, and so I would call my grandmother just about every day after school, and we would talk on the phone about different things, like what's going on in school, what's going on in Atlanta, what have I been up to, everything else. And so then I would just talk to her. I would talk to her, and then like there was an area kind of close to my house. It's not there anymore. It's called Bankhead Courts. They used to shoot like kind of like the movies there, like rough movies there and stuff like that. But it's like a rough area to live. And like right before you enter Bankhead Courts, there's like a little green patchy place of grass where people can sit because there's like a little playground right there. And there were like 4 or 5 kids sitting in that green patchy area. And, you know, it frustrated me to see, because I knew even in 5th and 6th grade, I was spoiled. Like my mom, she spoiled me. I knew I was spoiled. And so it frustrated me to see kids that were my age not being able to have the same things that I had. And so my grandmother and I, we talked about something that we could put together in order to give those kids something small, but something also big. And so we came up with the idea of giving books as a way, to help them. She thought it was a great idea, and we really didn't really think about it like that until she told a board of trustees about it. And she told me that they really liked the idea. And so that was like a shock to me. Like my idea actually impressed somebody. I'm only in like the 5th or 6th grade. And when I was in 8th grade, we were having our first meeting with the mayor of Toledo, and it was just breaking out of the ground. And I was just meeting all of the new ambassadors of Books for Buddies, and everybody's kind of looking around like, well, yeah, this might be good for 1 year. We'll maybe get 500 books or 1,000 books. We'll maybe do that. But now that I'm a junior, 4 years later, it's like, wow, actually, like we are doing so well. Like it's crazy to think about. Like something that happened when I was in 5th or 6th grade, and then it builds up to I'm in 8th grade. We have our first meeting. And now that I'm a junior, we're getting funding, and we're getting sponsors, and we're getting everything else. It's crazy to think about that. If you have an idea, it can take you on a long journey. We need mentors to show these other boys that reading it doesn't have to be cool, but it's necessary. It's very important for boys to read and to have a great sense of reading comprehension, because once you get to the age that I am, getting ready for college, getting ready for SATs. I think reading will, take boys, specifically boys, further in life than a ball ever will. I hope that Books for Buddies can make it to one day can make it to a national level where it's a highly recognized organization. I hope that I can show people that it came from a small town of Ohio where I'm from, and one day it can make it all the way out to Los Angeles and to New York and to Atlanta and to Chicago. I hope it can make it that far, and one day maybe it can become an international organization. And so the times where I was mad at my mom for not letting me go outside and hang out with my friends and shoot basketball and make me sit inside while she's cooking dinner and I have to wait for the timer to go off of the oven and tell her what I read about, and then she would tell me to write it down. It frustrated me, but now I know why she did it. Years later, I can look back and say, wow, thank you, Mom.
So quite a bit of change there, I'm sure, as you see yourself, just 6 or 7 years ago, and what Books for Buddies has become. From giving away just a couple hundred books to now even above what the video is saying. So between about 43,000 and 45,000. And you see ambassadors, if they're wearing the orange shirt, if you could stand up for me and kind of turn around. These are these staples of Books for Buddies. These are our ambassadors. We'll give them a round of applause. Perfect. So now we want to encourage the kids that are a little younger to want to be ambassadors. And before we get to our guest of honor, Erik Kynard, I want to draw a couple of names to get a shirt of your own, one of the kind of the Orange Crush shirts. So let's talk about this. We're going to pick 3 numbers out here. Get your raffle tickets handy. All right, everybody good? Give me a thumbs up in the back if you got your tickets ready. Everybody good? All right, first one up is 494070. Anybody got that? 494070. Is that you? I thought I saw a deputy right there. I know that might be the right size too. Looks like we might need a small for this one. There you go. Have a good one. All right, next one up. $494,035. Is that you? All right, come on up. He's being bashful back there. Ready? Nice catch. All right, last one up is 494027. Is that you? All right, come on up. And before we get to Erik Kynard, our buddy of the year, as you'll soon find out, obviously Erik is from here, and so his families are as well. So at this point, what we would like is the Kynard and the Adams family to both stand up if they can. And let's give them a round of applause. And you know, we're talking about reading all year long, making reading a habit, a good habit that cannot be broken. And maybe mom or dad, aunt and uncle, grandma and grandpa want you to read your textbook. And that's important for the kids out there. But we also want you to read for fun. We were just talking about the different avenues, whether it's an audio book, whether it's a book on monster trucks or construction or about being a firefighter, about being a sports hero or something like that. Even what I did when I was a kid, reading Sports Illustrated for kids, we want you to read no matter what, no matter your level of success. And with that, somebody from this area who was living the lives that you guys are for the most part, right? He has risen to a huge level of success. He's a two-time Olympian. And I saw a lot of you kids already know him. It's Erik Kynard. So come on up, Erik.
All right, I'm here. What am I supposed to be talking about again? Oh, no, in all seriousness, literature, right? The importance of reading in young men and boys. I think in my life's journey, reading has been a very integral part of my success. I am not a firm believer, nor a believer at all, of placing any limitation upon myself. And I think I've learned a great deal about life through viewing and observing the mistakes of others, but also reading about them. I think when you're building the foundation of your life, especially at the age of a lot of you young boys and older men in here, Dad, you can definitely develop skills and learn new passions and aspire and inspire other individuals based on what you learn from a book. I don't believe in circumstance. I don't believe in being a victim of circumstance. I believe in creating favorable conditions for myself, and that is a trait and characteristic I learned from a book. I've once, actually it was a year ago, I purchased 25 books. I won't give the author a shout out because he didn't give any of those books to me for free. But I gifted 25 people with the book that I felt like helped change the course and direction of my life. And it allowed me to place another tool in my box, so to speak, to create, another foundation of my life and to begin, the next path and the next journey for myself. One of the greatest quotes I think I ever read, and what allowed me to understand, limitation and the lack thereof and personal growth and progress was from Sir Edmund Hillary. And I don't know if there are any historians in the room outside of Coach B, wherever he's sitting. But Sir Edmund Hillary was one of the first people to climb, I think the first person to attempt to climb and successfully climb Mount Everest. What people don't know is that he failed like 3 times. And after one of his failures, he announced, he stood, at the foot of the mountain, and he announced to everybody that was present who was there to witness his failure, in all its greatness, glory, and glamour, that Everest had grown, all is going to grow, and he's growing still. And a few years later, he successfully attempted and climbed and scaled that mountain. And I think in order to grow, and in order to activate and stimulate growth and perseverance in these traits and characteristics, of dedication, determination, and diligence, you have to read. Because essentially in life, you can only go as far as you've been led, and you can only know as much as you've been taught. So if you're not seeking knowledge and learning more and putting yourself in a position to be a leader, then you'll be stuck exactly where you are. And that's my spiel on the importance of literacy. Thank you.
And before we get to some questions and answers for you guys, we're going to keep him up here. We're going to move off to the side. You've heard what he can do on the microphone. You've heard, as he called it, his spiel about reading and literacy and climbing that proverbial mountain. We're going to take a look at some of his accomplishments, not on a mountain, but on the track.
Kynard Jr. earned a silver medal in the men's high jump at the 30th Olympiad in London on Tuesday, August 7th, 2012. And whereas Mr. Kynard is a current student athlete at Kansas State University, majoring in entrepreneurship, where he's won 2 NCAA titles and 4 Big 12 conference titles. Whereas Mr. Kynard has represented himself, his university, his team, his coach, his hometown of Toledo, Ohio, the Manhattan community, and his country with exemplary sportsmanship and the true spirit of the Olympic Games. Now, therefore, I do hereby proclaim September 8th, 2012 as Erik Kynard Jr. Day. And please join us as we congratulate all our 2012 Olympians.
We got to check, right? Your right hand is still here, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. I have one more thing to say. I haven't done anything in my life for this moment right here, for the applause or, for the recognition. I think that in your personal pursuit of passion, you should pursue your passion for that exact reason. It shouldn't be a profitable pursuit initially, but I think through dedication and hard work, it can be a profitable endeavor for you personally. All the applause in the world means nothing to me, just simply the hugs and handshakes and pictures and autograph signings outside, and viewing the impact that I've had on the young men, old men, young women, and older women is enough glory and gratification for me. So I humbly thank you all and appreciate your presence here and your support of this organization. Thank you.
All right, and we're going to get Erik to stay up here just for a little bit longer. We're going to have a little question and answer session. We're going to make it move along, though. So if you've got a question, why don't you come down here in a nice line, and we'll go one at a time and have Erik answer any pressing questions you might have. Don't be shy, guys. All right, looks like we've got one of our ambassadors first up.
Hi, Erik. I was just wondering how many hours of practice it took you to finally get to the Olympics and get that silver medal.
I have a dream. Oh, sorry. I don't know. I don't think I've ever, this is very loud. I don't think I ever calculated that because it's important to me. And the process is just as important as the outcome, so I don't think I ever limited my thinking to attempt to evaluate the amount of sacrifices that I've made to accomplish things that I set out to accomplish. I don't allow myself to limit myself to, is it still on? Oh, sorry. I've never done this really. No, I have, I'm lying. But allow myself to limit myself to counting that currency as far as time is concerned. I just attempt to make the moments and times worthwhile. So.
Thank you.
All right.
How does it feel to be on TV?
I actually don't like it. I think I look better in person, honestly. But it's pretty cool. It is a very humbling and exciting experience. I don't watch myself on TV often, and I never listen to myself. As you guys saw, I kind of tilted my head down because that guy was shaking my hand for so long, and I looked so irritated. But it is a very humbling and exciting experience to be on television.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I was wondering, when you're working out, what is the most inspiring song you listen to? What is a song that you just can't help but listen to?
Song that I can't help to listen to. Song that I can't help to listen to. I don't always listen to music, actually.
Ah, okay.
Because it's not always readily available.
Oh, I understand.
And I don't put myself at the mercy of outside things. Through my learnings, and experience that I've gained, I don't make myself a slave to anything. Any circumstance, any tool, I think I put the world at my mercy, and mentally I kind of developed that thought process actually through reading and creating favorable conditions for myself. When you're in a stadium, when you're at the Olympic Games, there's not always music playing, and not everybody's always paying attention to you. But when you demand the respect of those present in the competition and those present in the stands, you change their perspective based on your presence. And I think I've been able to do that and exemplify that through my actions. And I've never limited myself to be at the mercy of any song or whether the sun is shining or it's rain falling. I think I can go out there and do my job, and I'll have fun, and I'll be passionate about my pursuit. So music and art.
Thank you.
I was wondering what the name of the book was that you gave the 25 people.
So it's called the Motivation Manifesto.
Okay, and my second question was, can you do a flip or something on stage?
I can't do no flip. I think I'm too old to flip, so my jeans are a little too tight for me to flip. Well,
How much does your medal weigh?
I don't know. I haven't seen it for like 2.5, 3 years, so I don't know how much it weighs.
Where is your medal?
I think it's on top of the refrigerator.
All right, thank you.
I wonder, how tall are you?
I'm 6'4.5", and my legs are 113 centimeters long, so it makes it extremely difficult to buy pants. So eat your Wheaties and vegetables for now, but reconsider in a few years. So.
As a child, did you think of being an Olympian?
As a child, I don't know what I thought. I think I had a very active imagination and still do. I don't watch much TV, but when I do, I try to watch cartoons. I'm serious. I'm so serious because it's very important. Another quote. Here's another gem. I'm sorry. I can't help myself. Henry Ford was once quoted saying that, if he would ask the people of the times what they needed, they would have told him a faster horse. And I think that's a testament to living out of your imagination and not your history. So for me, I try to stimulate my imagination all the time and not limit myself, in what I perceive the world to be to, whatever I'm viewing, whether it be on television or even what I'm reading. So sometimes I'll watch, what's the show I just watched on Netflix? My mom has my Netflix account, too. I think I don't know. I watched, what is it? I don't know. I can't remember. I watch a lot of stuff. But, yeah, so I just try to stimulate my imagination as much as possible and in order to enact, growth and new goals and things of that nature. But so basically watching cartoons is not that bad. Read books, too, but cartoons aren't that bad, okay? Unless it's SpongeBob. Don't watch SpongeBob.
How hard did it take you to win?
I don't think I've won enough in my life, so it's very, very hard. It's been very hard. It comes with the territory. Hard work is a part of the process in anything that you'll do. And I think I just have been numb to it. And I've just been able to continue to work hard and press forward. So that's been my focus. Did I answer your question, little buddy? Not really? You go over your head? All right.
How was it like traveling around the world?
I'm trying to be politically correct here. It has its pros and its cons. I don't get to spend much time with my family. I'll be here for about 27 hours in total. I'm leaving at I don't know what time it is, but 5 a.m. So, yeah, it's 7:30 right now. Y'all cutting into my rest time right now. No, but it has its pros and its cons. I've been traveling since I was 16 years old. So I'm 25 now, and I've been to countless amount of countries, and I've absorbed and observed and viewed so many different things from poverty to extreme wealth, and I think it's played a role on my perspective and the level of acceptance I hold for myself and my ability to change my behaviors in life. So it has its pros and its cons. The pros are, developing those characteristics and abilities, and the cons are missing out on my mom's cooking and spending time with my family. So,
Thank you.
well,
What made you want to start high jumping?
it was fate. Complete accident. I had nothing to do with it. My best friend's right there. He actually thought he was going to be a high jumper. But he stopped eating his Wheaties and vegetables too early. So yeah, it was fate. I think it was something that I was built for, and the plan was already in motion for me, and I kind of just had to follow the blueprint and put in the work. So.
Where did you go to do high jumping?
Where did I go? I went a lot of places. I've been all over the place to do high jumping, actually. My favorite place is Monte Carlo, Monaco. You probably saw it on the movie Iron Man, where the dude got hit by the car, and he was, no, you didn't see that part? My least favorite place is China, because they don't have sesame chicken in China. So tell the lady at the restaurant that it's not real Chinese, okay? Next time you know.
Is you in college yet?
Did I go to college?
You in college?
I'm done with college. I'm not going back either. I graduated from college in 2013, December. It was actually, in my mind, my greatest accomplishment, because I don't like being told what to do. And people tell you what to do in college. So make sure you work hard and go to college so you can live your life without having to listen to people tell you what to do. Like me.
Did you dream about being in the Olympics?
I dreamed about you asking me for another autograph. I remember you. I'm not signing your sweatshirt. I'm not signing that hoodie either. Yes, I did dream about going to the Olympics and exceeding my own expectations and expectations of the world. And I still dream about it. When I do dream, when I do sleep, I'm exhausted. That's just another gem I'm throwing out there. I'm ready to go. No, I'm joking. I do still dream, and I haven't, accomplished all the goals that I set out to accomplish for myself, and I'm still writing goals still. So taking on different challenges and learning different things in life. So,
Did you like being in the Olympics?
oh, this is the follow-up question? I did like being in the Olympics. What's up, man? You stood in that line like you walked far. You were sitting right there.
Is it nervous being out there? Are you?
Do I get nervous?
Mm-hmm.
No, not at all. I'm like anti-nervousness. When you work, I get anxious. But when you work extremely hard, you don't get nervous because you're prepared. When preparation meets opportunity, the formula of success, so meaning that it would be like you being nervous to go to school every day. You don't get nervous to go to school, right, because you're prepared for learning, So for me, I work relentlessly on preparing myself for the stages that I perform on, in the platforms that I speak on, including this one. So I don't get nervous. A lot of times I don't write anything down because I feel sometimes that those scripts can be artificial, and I would rather deliver something that's organic. And so that's what I do. Just wing it sometimes, And I don't get nervous, though.
When you were high jumping, did it come a time where you ever wanted to give up because you were so frustrated? And if you did, how did you overcome that?
I just made something up recently in my head. I told it to this little girl. She was a high jumper. Frustration can be productive, and it can be a tool, but it can also be destructive. And I think the analogy I used was fire. If you're in a forest and you start a fire to keep you warm, it's productive. It is a tool, and it's used to help you survive. And extrinsically and intrinsically, that means on the outside and inside, for those who don't know. who didn't exercise their literacy. I'm joking. That fire and that motivation can help you move forward. But frustration, in this analogy, as fire, if it's out of control, it can spread rapid and it can destroy a lot. And it can be very destructive in your life. So you have to be careful what you allow to frustrate you and how you react to that frustration, especially as it pertains to pole vaulting, because I know that's what you do. Because I got a photographic memory, you know what I mean? I just try to be sharp. You blushing, don't blush, it's all good.
Is there something that stuck with you that any of your coaches told you that helped you?
Brownie is not getting any more accolades or pub in this thing, so just keep listening to him and you'll be fine. You'll be fantastic. Okay. You'll do a sensational job pole vaulting. Excuse me, good luck.
Okay, thank you.
What's going on, E?
What's up, E?
I got a two-part question for you. What's your definition of failure?
Failure? I don't know. For me, failure, okay, if I was going to summarize failure, it would be guarantee. That would be the word. Guarantee. Failure equals guarantee because it's guaranteed, period. Success and succeeding in any instance is a pending transaction, and it depends on the amount of work and perseverance that you have in life. You'll fail. You're guaranteed to fail. It's something that's going to happen. How you react to that failure and how you use that failure as motivation will determine whether or not you become successful in whatever it is you set out to do.
Absolutely, I agree. When it's all said and done, what do you want your legacy to be?
I don't know, because I don't limit myself. See, Donald Trump just became the president, so I might want to be the president now. You know, you never know. Anything can happen. You know?
Probably would have voted for you.
You know what I mean? So I can have a lot of different legacies, but I can tell you that I just want to say, you know, when the time comes for me to meet, you know, my maker and whoever you believe your maker to be, I know who I believe mine to be. I want to say that I did the most with my time, and I gave all I had to give, and I have nothing left. So.
Good answers, man. Take care, bro.
How much money did you get?
I'm broke, baby. I got no money.
How old do you have to be in the high jump?
How old do you have to be? You can start right now. You have some big shoes to fill as far as the world is concerned because your last name, man. And your brother is a pretty cool dude. I met him before one time. He's pretty handsome, too, I hear. That's what they told me. You know, I don't know. I don't swing. But, no, you can start right now. I started when I was 13, I think. I don't want to lie. Was I 12? High jumping. 12, 13, I don't know. Sharon was there, I believe him. I don't believe my mom, so 13. 13, but you can start today.
All right, just one more question from our chair, Dr. Chris Smallman.
Eric, we've had the pleasure of working with your mom for this event. And just from interacting with your mom, I can tell that you were raised in a house of faith. Where does God tie into all of this?
Well, that's a really good question. I think he's the head for sure, not the tail. I believe it was a commercial. Sharon was, the ability to believe and have faith is the strongest power in the world, and I think that is extremely prevalent in my life. So God definitely is the architect, and I am simply the man with the hammer as far as my life is concerned. Jesus was a carpenter, so you definitely have to build it before you can rule it. And as it pertains to building the foundation of my life and what I want my little home to be like, whether it be meek or whether it be extravagant, I'm just the guy with the hammer.
Thank you.
Is anybody like recording this? Because I'm making all this stuff up, and some of it sounds exceptionally good. Like, it sounds really good. So if anybody has a tape or something so I can inscribe or something, anybody
You
type
know, those
it.
guys in the back rolling
All right,
out all
I'm going
this.
to need this DVD, you know what I mean?
Thank you, Eric. We'll see a little bit more of Eric in just a couple minutes. All right, now somebody with a long resume of her own. She's going to come up and talk to Eric a little bit more, and that is our mayor of Toledo, Paula Hicks Hudson.
Thank you very much. I also want to give a thanks for this opportunity to my friend Lanita and to all of you for being here, for parents, for young people, for Books for Buddies, because about 4 years ago, it's when I first became involved or got to know the young men who are the ambassadors, and I've seen some people grow. I did not know, Ture, that your first name was Lumumba. And for those of you who know anything about African history, that Patrice Lumumba was a warrior. And what you have created with that idea that you said that thoughts and ideas can take you a long way, is that's warrior talk. That's warrior speak, because that is what has happened with Books for Buddies. It was an idea that has grown and has touched lives and has revolutionized how we look and how we should think about reading and how reading should be connected to young men. And so I'm very happy to be here to say that this is a wonderful, wonderful organization. The mission, the opportunities that these young men have to be able to be ambassadors, that's also a very powerful word, an ambassador. That means that you are going out and representing a people or a thing or a thought. How awesome is that, that young people are ambassadors, that they're not just leaders. They are people that are going out into a different way and a different place. And then we come to Erik Kynard Jr., who dropped so many pearls tonight of wisdom and thoughts about, really, to the question about failure. It's a guarantee, and a guarantee is pretty easy, but that challenge of being successful, the determination, the ideas about that one can do whatever if they put themselves in the right mind of thinking and believing and doing. And one of the things that you said that it just went out of my head, but it was also about thoughts. And our thoughts truly are formed by reading and experiences. And one of the things about a book is that you can be in one of the darkest situations, but that book can take you and transform you into the light, into some place that you never could imagine to be. And so when I was a little girl growing up in Hamilton, Ohio, one of my favorite times was to be in a library and to sit in a corner and read. And I used to take books home and bring books back to read. And if there's anything that I regret about being the mayor of the city, is that I don't get that opportunity to read like I want and used to. Because it is an escape. It is a place that you can go where your mind can be as free as it wants to be. And so to you young people, especially you young boys and young men, I really implore you to understand that reading is more than being fundamental. It is fun. It is a ticket that can take you to wherever it is that you want to travel to. And you can go to China and not get Sesame's chicken. Or you can go to Monte Carlo, or you can go wherever you want to go because you have that foundation. And I think Erik Kynard Jr., which I'm going to say his entire name, shows us what that foundation is, and where we can, starting from Toledo, Ohio, can go wherever it is that we want to go to. So to these two young men, I want to salute you. One, Ture, for your vision and the tenacity that you have, and for your grandmother who said, you can do it, and I'm here to support you. That's one of the things that Lanita talks about. She's not in front of anyone with this. The young men are. And her job is to help clear the pathway, to make the connections so that they can be successful. Not her, but that the success comes from these young men. And I'm so pleased and I'm so honored that this is an organization that has started here in this town, where there are so many things that are so good about the city of Toledo that we need to shout it and tell it and make sure that people know how wonderful this town is. And how while you may go to Clark, Atlanta, we expect you to come back home. And Eric, when you decide whether the house is going to be extravagant or meek, we expect it to be in the 419. Don't we? Oh, yeah. Because I can't think that Kansas is all that great in terms of climate. So it can't be the climate thing that we hear about. My understanding is that come up here, young man. You, Mr. Erik Kynard Jr. It's my understanding that I believe under Mayor Bell that you were given the key to the city, so I can't top that. But what I can top it with is a gift from the city to you from the Art Museum, which is, as you know, we're the glass city, and there better be a wonderful piece of glass in there for you, that we want you to know that wherever you go, since you don't know where your medal is, you should know where that is, because it's going to have to sit on a desk someplace you can see it real clearly. But we just want you to know that we're so very proud of you, that you represent more than just an athlete. You represent more than just a young man who made good. You are one of our sons. And as one of our sons, that we love you, we support you, and wherever you go, we want you to know that you have our prayers, you have our good thoughts and our good wishes, but you need to come back home. It's a paperweight. Thank you.
And we have a couple other dignitaries that were not able to be here tonight, so I'm going to present a couple of awards to Erik Kynard Jr. in the form of a couple of proclamations. This is from Lucas County itself, and it is a proclamation from the 3 county commissioners, Carol Contrada, Pete Gherkin, and Tina Skeldon Wozniak. Again, this is from the Lucas County Commissioners for Erik. You don't have to come up just yet if you don't want to. We're going to give you the other one at the same time, too. This one, I don't know if you guys can see, it's the Seal of Ohio, and it's from the Ohio House of Representatives. So inside we've got a nice certificate signed by Representative Michael Ashford of House District 44 and Clifford Rosenberger, who's the Speaker of the Ohio House, all in honor of Erik Kynard Jr. tonight. I don't know how he's going to fit all of this in his carry-on going back to the Little Apple tomorrow morning. So, you know, the mayor, Paula Hicks Hudson, who you just heard from, was talking about, obviously, Erik Kynard Jr. and Teray McCord, one of the co-founders here. And we're going to kind of merge those two inspirational guys for you, those two inspirational young men who are not that much older than many of you all sitting here in the audience. And we're going to bring Teray up here to present a very special honor. He flew in, just like Erik, only for a couple hours. You got to get ready for midterms, too. Finals,
yeah. Good evening, everyone. My name is Teray McCord. I'm a freshman student at Clark Atlanta University, and I'm also co-founder of Books for Buddies alongside my grandmother. Before I get started, I just wanted to say I could have never envisioned this those years ago when we started this. I could have never thought all of you guys would be here. We'll be honoring Mr. Erik Kynard Jr. And, you know, I remember being 13 years old. I had a news camera in my face for the first time. And I just told them 1,000 books, and look at the turnout now. This is amazing. And I would just like to acknowledge my grandmother, Lanita Goings, if you could stand, if you do. She doesn't like to be on the spot. So. This evening there are 2 wooden books, one pine and the other oak. Wood was chosen as a medium, symbolizing the power of the tree that is nurtured by nature, its resilience, durability, and natural beauty that is long-lasting. Your accomplishments on the global stage personifies that of a tree in terms of endurance, strength, and resistance to breaking. The Pine book will find a spot in the library. It has 3 rings, and each year there will be another honorees page outlining the recipient's accomplishments. The name engraved on the metal bar, as yours is. If I could have Mr. Paul Thomas Sr. and Ambassador Paul Thomas Jr., if you guys could stand, who volunteered to complete this project on very short notice, if we could acknowledge them as well. And the second is a wooden oak book. The oak tree is known to be solid, durable, and resilient. The Books for Buddies logo is burned on the front. Inside, there are 3 rings that can hold newspaper clippings, pictures, and this one has information of Books for Buddies. If you could open this up. I know you guys won't be able to see it from back here, but the inside, the left side says Enhancing Literacy for Boys and Young Men and Building Young Leaders, one book at a time. And on the right side, it says honoring the 2016 recipient, Erik Kynard Jr., and all those who that follow. I also like to ask Mr. Thomas Dimitru, your English teacher, and the machining class to stand to be acknowledged for creating this amazing wooden book. Can you guys stand if you Thank you. And Eric, like the resilience and the power of the mighty pine and oak trees, we salute you for your dedication, positivity, leadership as a role model, and our hometown hero ranked as an elite among the best athletes in the world. We congratulate you on your amazing accomplishments as an athlete, and more is important, as a mentor and as an avid reader. On behalf of Books for Buddies, ambassadors, and a board and strong sponsors, we are proud to acknowledge you as the very first recipient of the 2016 Books for Buddies Buddy of the Year Award. Congratulations.
Now we have 3 very fitting tributes from 3 of our current ambassadors. Guys, I'm going to call you off, or young men, one at a time, to come up here and present what you've created for Erik Kynard Jr. First up, we've got Jelani Hamilton, so if you could stand up. So a couple of you have already met Jelani tonight, obviously talking to Erik in the question. Here you go.
Hello, everyone. Hope you guys are having a great night. I sure am. I have a little something I wrote for you. I am a poet, and I love to write poetry, and also when it comes to literature, I read as well, but that helps fuel my vocabulary, my will to write more. And I would like to tribute this to you. Destinies interwoven, written in the stars, glorious moments are chosen as passions awoken from days that were broken. Push on the path to success, and gold is the token. But yes, I remember decode Decembers when struggle was real and feelings were tender. Not much for dinner when my pockets were thinner. Walking through winters, I'm never a quitter. With weight on my back, I have strength of Olympians. Told me to act, my spirit is limitless. Told me to run, now I'm running with diligence. Speak for my people, I stick to the syllabus. Erik Kynard, you're a true inspiration. May your actions echo for my generation. You defied odds and demonstrated greatness, and I know this, and so do we. From a small city to Lido, from standing tall in Rio, your determination made our nation understand undying zeal. A real symbol for the youth, grinding for a meal. Grinding for a meal. Like Superman, you fly high, a heroic man of steel. You're as good as gold. We have no doubts, no reservations. A man of sensation, a Rogers ran, pacing your racing. As your story unfolds, the legend is how you will be painted. But in the city, you're adored across the world, but you're our favorite. And I would like to give you, this is for you. I did not do the art personally. My very, very talented mother over there decided to do this work of art for you. And the poetry is written onto the portrait, and I really hope you enjoy it. This is... No problem.
Please don't give me anything else. I didn't pack a big bag, so yeah.
All right, next up, we've got Sharon Lyle, so come on up.
Hey. Hold on, give me a moment. Yes. When Mom told me about I'm doing a project for Mr. Erik Kynard, I really didn't know who Erik Kynard was. I'm sorry, bro. But she said, "You're going to do a project for Erik Kynard?" I was like, "Okay, the Olympian." I'm like, "The what?" But then I was so nervous at first because Olympian is like a big honor around the globe. So I was like so scared to draw a sketch for like a whole month. So we started at the last minute horribly, but it all ended up well, but all the pressure my mom was giving me about saying I should get this done, and the support I got from my little brother for him helping me out in this little project too. Stand up, bro. Thank you. Before I show you, I wanted to start off like the piece. Since I can't sketch, I can never draw the same thing twice. And I don't like drawing the same thing twice because it's not original. So I was like, I should just start on the canvas without thinking about anything. Because I start thinking when I draw without knowing what I'm drawing. So I just started out with like like when you throw a water balloon out the wall, and then it like disperses water everywhere, and it just drips and makes really crazy patterns. So that's what I started off doing with that. And I put like your initials EK in the middle, so it looked like it's blowing up, I'm going to show you guys. It makes more sense if I showed you guys. All right, here we go. It's like really colorful. I wanted to incorporate all the nations that were in this program. So like the red was America, so I'll put EK for America because you're not fighting for America, but you're playing for America. And I put the rings in, and then I put I don't know what the bridge is called, but it's like so pretty. It's the one, it glows in the dark, and it's got like these beautiful poles hanging out from the middle of it. I was going to make it black and white, but no, I made it gold because that's like the thing that stands out to me in Toledo. And it seems like that's like the nation's monument. Well, not nation, it's Toledo's monument to me. That's my favorite monument. I'll put you underneath there with you holding the flag because I saw that picture. I was like, whoa, that's pretty dope. And then the picture of you holding onto the pole after after you jumped over it, I believe. No. You jump over those pipes with such precision, man. It's ridiculous. And I just wanted to, with the outline for the outside, put gold. And since you got the silver medal, I made the whole background silver, which, to me, honestly, I think silver is better than gold because, we pay for it. We use it as money, so, So, that's about it. Oh, and I want to use all the colors from the rings all over the thing, too. And since I'm not good at color mixing, I just thought that would be my color, what are they calling y'all? The color scheme, yeah. The color scheme. So, yeah, I'd like to present this to you, Erik Kynard.
All right, we've got the third tribute coming up here, and that is another one of our ambassadors. Wearing the blazer tonight, Jordan Topoleski.
Hi guys, my name is Jordan Topoleski. I'm a junior over at Swinney High School. I've been an ambassador now for just a little bit over 2 years, and it's been a phenomenal experience, not only for myself, but for all the kids. We go out there every event we have, and we're able to touch every kid's life, make a difference. And that's what's so great about this program, I think. I actually had a really cool opportunity back this April to go down to Columbus for Ohio Legislative Day and talk to some of our state representatives. I got to talk to Representative Sheehy, Ashford, and Sears about not only the Books for Buddies program, but our library system and how much it does and how much it provides for kids, for the youth, not only in their area, but statewide. And it was really fantastic to see all the support we have behind them, not only at that state level, but from people like our mayor here, Mayor Paula Hicks Hudson. It's just fantastic to see. And I think something that really sums up the whole Books for Buddy organization is our orange t-shirts. You know, orange is a color that's so symbolic of energy, of adventure, of passion, of vitality. And that's what we're all about. And without further ado, I'd love to present our 2016 Buddy of the Year, Erik Kynard, with his commemorative Buddy of the Year t-shirt and Books for Buddy bracelet.
So you all have met some of our ambassadors, but I want to bring up one of the unsung heroes whom I mentioned, Paul Hicks Hudson mentioned, Mike Bell mentioned as well, and that is the co-founder and really the beating heart of Books for Buddies. She's been on a real crusade to help all of our young men not only get up to par, but excel and really make reading a habit, and that is Miss Lanita Goings.
Thank you, Ben, and thank everybody for coming this evening. This has been quite an amazing journey. These young men, the ambassadors, I tell you, when you see them wearing those infamous Tennessee orange t-shirts, stop them, give them a hug, and congratulate them because they're doing some wonderful things. They could be doing so many other things. You know that there's a famous saying by a civil rights leader, Mahatma Gandhi, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in service for others. A former Books for Buddies ambassador, now at Harvard, simply put it this way: it's nice doing something for someone else with not expecting anything in return. You've heard our story. It's captured and documented on our website, booksforbuddies.com, and social media. However, this evening would not have been possible without you, our community family, and your tremendous support, donating books, volunteering time, and your resources. The lingering question is, especially as we start now to talk about raising some serious dollars about Books for Buddies, are you making an impact? And how are you making an impact? The children that we serve, we've seen in the various communities, simply say, I've never even owned a book. We go back the next year and they say, now we have all these books and we have no place to store them. What are we going to do? In one neighborhood, one of the young men said, we would like to have a book club, so there's a lot of work that we're going to do to implement some of these things. The ambassadors will tell you, as Jordan has said, about their impact with the kids in the community, especially boys. And that's the neat thing about our literacy program. We collect books and we give them to everybody, but we really focus on the boys because boys tend to struggle with reading. So we're raising dollars to be able to buy the books that we believe that they will enjoy reading. As I said, pay attention to our young leaders, the ambassadors. They're dedicated, committed, and without a doubt, they are paying it forward. Erik Kynard Jr., we are so proud to honor you. Thank you for coming home. And I've thought about, I'm not really a sports fan, but I got excited when we saw you at the Olympics, and you were wearing the red, white, and blue colors. And I even took my cell phone and took a picture in the kitchen watching you walk down with the other honorees. So we're simply delighted. And I was thinking, when you're on the global stage like that, the millions of eyes who are watching you, but you explained it tonight, when you're dedicated to your craft, you're focused, and nothing else really matters. I have to tell you that now that you've accepted that T-shirt, and people have been wanting to buy them for some time. And the orange bracelet, you are now officially our ambassador. And we always say, once an ambassador, always an ambassador. The Kynard family got to know your mom. She's such a wonderful person. Thank you for allowing us to work with your son and congratulate him. And it's kind of interesting how things kind of turn in life, like you, Erik, and Brandon, Teresa's mom, Dr. Andrea Goings, who's a pediatrician in Northridge, California, is also a Rogers Ram. This year, we have a special young man that we are so thrilled to be a part of our ambassador program. He's a part of the American Cultural Exchange Student Program. His name is Barama, and I won't try to pronounce your last name. Would you stand, Barama? Barama is he has such a wonderful smile. He reminds me of another grandson we have in California, but he is an international student. Barama is a junior at Scott High School, where he is an honor student. He speaks 4 languages. His native language is French. He plays 2 instruments in the band, and he plays soccer. And he says, oh yeah, I'm really good at soccer. Yeah, without a doubt, I'm really, really good. He has a wonderful smile. Since 2012, we have had a number of ambassadors who have graduated. The total is 14. We have them in various places: Teresa at Clark Atlanta in Atlanta, Georgia, Morehouse, Tiffin, Ohio State, Harvard, University of Toledo, Miami, Marymount College, Marymount, and Bowling Green State University. These are just an amazing group of young men. However, what is an ambassador without mentors? We have some wonderful mentors who've stepped up to the plate. The mentors, some of them are here this evening. The proud grandfather, Bill Goings, stand. Mentor, Andre Page. Dennis Hobson, Tom Martin, Sheriff John Tharp, Richard Jackson, Bob Mendenhall, and Mel Honing. The lead mentor, however, you've heard his name called earlier this evening, Christopher Smith. Please stand, Christopher, that young man, Christopher Smith. He keeps everybody on their toes. Keeps us laughing. In fact, we have our board meetings here with the director, and I've never seen the director laugh so much when he comes to the board meetings, because Christopher keeps us on his toes and he's laughing. We're really sincere and dedicated about the making the lives and the difference in the lives of these men and our community. And one of his official duties is to document their community service hours, because what we found is, when we started this organization, wouldn't it be nice if, but it has gone on and on, so I get calls as the young men are getting ready to go to college. Mrs. Goings, I need a letter of recommendation. I need something for the counselor at school. So we document those service hours, and they're understanding it's important, it's about service. There was a writer in the New York Times, an article by a columnist, I should say, not too long ago, and he talked about there are a lot of young people who can take the AP classes, and so when they graduate, they can graduate with a 4.3, 4 or 5 or whatever. There are a lot of kids who are smart, they just don't have can't take advantage of those classes. One of the things that the article continued to say is that the admission officers are saying, it's good that you're a good athlete, it's good that you're a great scholar, but what are you doing in terms of community service? So community service is rising to the top. That is weighing large. And so now we're finding not only the ambassadors, but students from the University of Toledo and other places are coming to us asking for support. And we're really happy. And we invite you to check out our website. If you'd like to volunteer, we have a job for you. Tonight started actually about two and a half years ago, when Dennis Hobson and Don Emmons and I were talking about, we've got to do something. We have been calling people and asking for donations, but now we have taken this to the next level. What do we need to do? How should we roll this program out? I was kind of leery, as a mother and a grandmother, and a woman, we have our own ideals, but they stood by me. And this morning, a group of guys met, and I wasn't at the meeting, but I understand I was a topic of conversation. You get those emails around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Who does that, And I think Mr. Cathy even kind of chimed in. He chimed in. He says, yes, I get those same emails too. So Don, and I don't know where it is. I can't see Don. Don, okay, Don, please stand. There he is standing by the door. And Dennis. Dennis has been with us, and Don have been with us since the very, very beginning. I love what Dennis's commercial says. He does what he does because of the kids. So thank you for your support. Thank you for your devotion, your commitment, and your professional decorum. A special thanks to Dr. Christine Smallman, the co-chair, Director of Newspaper and Education at the Blade. Through her network and her outreach, she worked with 4 mechanical engineering students at the University of Toledo, and last week we had the distinct honor and pleasure of participating in the Blade's holiday parade. There was a beautiful float that these mechanical engineering students created. So thank you so very much. And another quiet co-chair of today's event is Lisa Kohler. I don't know where Lisa is. Where are you, Lisa? There she is, way in the back. Of course she would be way in the back. Lisa's like me. She sent me an email around 11:45 p.m. and she tells me to go to bed, but we're emailing back and forth. And Lisa, quite as it's kept, she's actually the person who designed the logo. She designed the logo quite a few years ago, and she just gave it to us. And she said, keep this, I'm with you. So thank you, Lisa, for your service. I'd also like to thank Ben Cathy, meteorologist for Channel 13 ABC. Ben has been with us for the last couple of years, and he has grown and grown and grown, and his sense of humor is just beyond belief. So thank you for your support, Ben. And we also appreciate the Honorary Chair, Michael Bell, for stopping by this evening, as well as Mayor Paula Hicks Hudson. It's so important to see political leaders come and support these events and these young men. I would also like to thank Rick, Rick's Diner. I'm sure you all had a chance to enjoy his wonderful food. Oh my gosh, it was simply delicious. If you've not been to Rick's Diner on Monroe Street, I don't know why not. I mean, it's simply fabulous. Not only is the food good, but it's the place to go to when you want to meet people. It's the meet and greet place. And this evening, along with Rick, was Susan Allen Block. She provided the delicious quiche and desserts, so we were happy to have Susan Allen Block with us this evening. All of our strong supporters listed on the program, but especially the Toledo Lucas County Public Library, Clyde Sco's director, Susan Gibney, Rhonda B. Sewell, and the entire library staff. They have done nothing but make us feel welcome. And yay, the levy passed, so we're really, really happy that passed. We'd like to thank the Blade for its countless service. They let us take the books there and store the books there. You will see the Blade trucks with us at various events, and they provide advertising. We have a trade agreement with the Blade, and so you'll see these wonderful color ads, and you'll think, well, how can you afford to have these wonderful color ads? But we have a great, strong relationship with the Blade, and so we're thankful for that. We have a roving photographer with us. He's been with us since 2012. Call on him all the time, and he says okay, and you'll see him coming out with his camera, adjusting his glasses, writing down names. Ramon Tiggs, where is Ramon Tiggs? There he is, see? He's working. And finally, I am a grandmother, a mother and a grandmother, and Teray and I have a very special relationship. Thank you, grandson, for allowing us to continue using your voice, telling your story about the importance of reading and how cool it is for boys. Thank you so much. And once again, thank you.
And Lanita, we can't let you sit down just yet. So I know we've got the famous orange shirts, but I've got you this, thinking of you. It's kind of a play on Dr. Seuss. So I'll read it aloud. It says, I will read on a boat. I will read with a goat. I will read on the train. And my personal favorite, being a meteorologist, I will read in the rain. I will read with a fox. I will read in a box. I will read with a mouse. I will read in a house. I will read here or there. I will read anywhere. And
One more thing. I'd like to call Christine up and also Lisa. Can you come up for a second? This is just a small token of our appreciation. Thank you for your love, your dedication, and your hard work. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And before we reach the end of the night, I want to go over the silent auction. I'm not going to tell you who won what or whatever, but if you hear your name called, you need to check in at the front desk before you leave. They would like you to take your prize tonight or for a proxy for a couple of you. Again, these are out of order. Just if you hear your name, go to the front before the night is over. And apologies for the mispronunciations. Brittany Fauzi, Roger Brown, Bob Howell, Andre Page, Jacqueline Kohler, Lisa Kohler. Got a couple more. Amy Lawyer. That's what I was worried about. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Susan Gibney. Is Susan still here? All right. Adam Smitty, and Roger Brown again. So if you heard your name, before you leave, make your way to the front. Now, for those of you that didn't bid, this is your time of the night. And again, I'm not eligible for this, but we're going to give away by random drawing a couple of different sets. We got some books we're going to do first, and then we've got some nice gift cards as well. So first up will be the books, all right? So, get your little red tickets out. Okay. We've got 494082. One of the deputies, is it you? 082. Anybody? All right. Last call, 082. I'm going to try a different one. 494058. Is that you? Maybe in a couple years. All right, next up for another book is 494117. Anybody? All right, we'll try a different one. 033, the last three numbers. All right. Tough crowd. All righty. 494077. Oh, there we go. All right, and then the last one, which I just drew, was 030. Oh, that's the one I just called? Oh, we got another one up there. All right, and then last up will be, we've got two. One for Plate 21, coffee shop, sandwich shop, owned by Sandy Spang, one of the city councilwomen. And that will be 494114. 114. We give it a couple seconds. This is a good one. All right. 494024. Is that you? right, this is a good one as well. We've got $30 in Kroger cash. Now, I know not everybody likes coffee, but everybody needs groceries. So 494087. No takers? Zero 74. 494074. There you go. All righty. Before we close things up, we want to bring out one of the co-chairs, and you just met her a couple minutes ago, and at the beginning of the, I don't want to call it a broadcast, but the presentation, and that is a real integral part of Books for Buddies, Dr. Christine Smallman.
I'd like all the kids in the audience to come up front. Come on. All of you. Turn around. Come on. You know what he just said? He said it feels nice being up here. Okay. We're doing well on time. Bear with me while I tell this story. It's going to start out kind of sad. So bear with me until I get to the end, okay? I was raised in a rural county where there was one black student in our high school the entire time I went to school. I was raised in a community where white was right. I was raised by a loving mother who taught me everyone was the same, and I was raised by a racist father. And I lived my whole life until he died last year, ashamed. Ashamed that I was smarter than he was. Ashamed that I could never invite him to anything because I was afraid he would embarrass me. You know, when you volunteer, you work really hard. But I just want to thank your community. I got so much out of this. Met so many wonderful people. And the reason I brought all of you up here is because, you know what, it's too late for people like my dad. But you can change the world. Just like Mr. Kynard has changed the world. People in this city are so proud of him. Black, white, purple, green, everybody's proud of him. And the notoriety he brought to our city, but more importantly, not because he's an Olympian, but because he's a man of character. And that means more than anything, Erik. You set an example for the young men and women of this community. Thank you. So I'm going to challenge every single one of you to practice tolerance of ignorant people. What's ignorant mean?
I don't even know.
You know what ignorant is? Ignorance is when you refuse to broaden your thought process. Okay? What I would like each one of you to do is stand up here and raise your hands, and I want you to yell, "I can make a difference."
I can make a difference.
much for your support this evening. We will be back, but not till after January, Lenita. No emails. Ben, I'd like to thank you. You did a wonderful job. You're never allowed to move out of Toledo, Ohio. Okay? Yeah. Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure working with all of you.